right, welcome back to AMF, always moving forward. I'm here again today with my boy Harmini.
What's up, man? What's up, y'all?
So, last show we talked about, we said that you guys are going to get to learn a little bit more about us. And being our first show with the first guest, I felt that this was really fitting that Harmini would be my first guest. And the reason being is we're talking about journeys. And Harmini is probably going to be the longest in this journey with the camera. So how far back do we go?
Oh man, years, plural.
So we've been doing this for a while. So,
yeah, it's been a minute.
So, and like Harmini said in the last episode that, you had people that you thought was going to be with you the whole way, and some people fell off, and some people just weren't meant to travel with you on that journey.
Yeah.
So,
it's true.
That's why I felt like it was really important for me to interview you because, like I said, you've been with me the whole time. And then we'll talk about this later in my book too, of surrounding yourself with the right people, because you always need that encouragement, you need that accountability.
Super important.
So, this is one of my brothers that that's helped when I needed it, and he's just been through the whole journey. So today we're going to learn more about Harmini. Going to talk to you a little bit about where you came from, and at that moment that you changed your life around, and where you're going from there. So let's talk about the early years of Harmini.
Okay.
Let's talk about the Harmini before.
Yeah.
The
alpha of Harmini, the beginning.
So let's go ahead and talk about that. Let's tell them a little bit about you and where you came from, and some of the struggles and the things that you went through.
Sure. So I was born and raised in Elmira, New York. Raised in a single parent home. Me and my brother Anthony lived with our mother. Both of our dads were absent, and so the struggle of not having a dad there, it makes a big impact in your life because you're constantly looking for affirmation from anybody and anything, because you want that sense of purpose and that sense of belonging. And when you don't have that, you tend to gravitate to whatever makes you feel good to get that. And so for me, my affirmation came from drug dealers that saw something good in me as far as my ability to be able to run and to sell drugs. And and I took that seriously. I started getting into drugs when I was 10 years old. I started using, and then from there, I started connecting with more and more people, because when you start doing drugs, you need to then find connections to get drugs. And so I ended up connecting with a lot of people and eventually got to some of the biggest drug dealers in my city, Elmira, New York, which then caused me to learn more about how the whole process was executed, as far as purchasing, as far as bagging things, as far as finding clientele, and those types of things. And so, by the time I was, by the time I was like 12, I was already selling drugs, making money, full blown. By the time I became a teenager, I was fully blown into alcohol, sex, money, drugs, porn, running the streets, defiant, completely defiant. Obviously my grades and everything in school just went boop. and everything else in my life went boop. So they just lock that noise in your head. So when I was 15, my mom my mom sold drugs for 11 years before we got raided the first time. And she had some friends that she was, really close to, and they decided that they would, basically go into business together. And so they began to sell drugs as, a means to not only provide, income within the house, but also a means to provide free drugs for their own recreational and personal use, And so
So it just made it a lot more accessible for you as a young girl.
Yeah, because my mom would have, she'd have all that in her purse, and I would, I'd be ninja style. I really admire my mom. She passed away. She's in heaven now. But my mom, where we lived in the projects and everything, I can't remember one time ever seeing my mom sleep in a bed.
Wow.
She always gave me and my brother the beds, and she slept on the couch my whole life. I cannot remember one day that I saw my mom actually sleep comfortably in a bed. And so when my mom slept on the couch, I would be upstairs and I would come down, and then I would, I'd do the military crawl
Right.
on the floor as quiet as possible up to her purse. I'd reach in, take some of that, and then slowly back out military style
Right.
to go upstairs and then, have my own deal there. But it was an environment that I was raised in where, drugs were obviously there. It wasn't a good neighborhood at all. There was always stabbings and just stupid stuff going on all the time.
Right.
And so, I had to deal with that, be faced with that, and those influences influenced me to behave and think a certain way, which then led me down a path that, really almost destroyed everything in my life and destroyed me. So yeah, man, that's kind of like where the beginning stages of my birth and growing up. One of the biggest drug dealers in my city, his name was Exxon, and I would go to his house, and he was a white dude who rapped really, really well.
Wow.
Now, there was already rappers in our city, when I was growing up, that were known for that kind of things. They were known for, freestyling. They were known for getting in ciphers. They were known for music and being respected for their talent and the level of their skill in music. And so when I would go to his house, man, I would sit down kind of, really at his feet. He'd be sitting down. I'd just sit down Indian style on the rug, man. And we'd be smoking and doing our thing, and he'd turn on beats, and he'd just start rapping, and then his friends that he was closer associated with would come and
Right.
and they would rap too.
Okay.
And so I was actually more drawn to boy bands growing up because I loved the sound of harmony.
Right.
Pun intended.
Right.
I'd always get my friends together and try to get them to harmonize. I'd be like, you hold this out, and I'll do the my other do and we'd just be like doing it. I'd get on their nerves, man,
Right.
because I would always want them to do that. And but music and harmony, the sound of a cappella harmony, just the voices, just did something to me, man. I can't really explain it. It goes deeper than where it goes with most people.
Right.
And so that was what I listened to before I got into the drugs and things. I was more into the NSYNC. I was into the Backstreet Boys. I was into, 98 Degrees, Boys II Men. All of the boy bands that had that a cappella feel to it, I was drawn to them and loved their music. But then when I started getting into the drugs and I started going, to the drug dealer's house, I started seeing the respect that he was getting,
Right.
and the others were getting for their, for their music and, just their ability to do what they did. And so basically from there, I had developed a desire to want to be like that. I wanted the money.
Right.
I wanted the respect. And so I began to refocus my passion and I guess my desire for a cappella into rap. And so that's kind of where that took. And so when I started doing that, I ended up getting really good at it, and a lot of people noticed it. And yeah, man. So that's even where the music derived from.
Wow. So, what was the moment that the pivotal moment that that made you realize that you had to get out of that lifestyle? What was it that it was? Can you like pinpoint that very moment?
Absolutely. I was 22 years old. I had went to jail. I went to prison, for drugs and all that crap, man. And my mom died of lung cancer 2 weeks before I got out. When I actually got out, my brother met me at the gate, and I went to go live with him because I had nowhere to go.
Right.
And so, when I went to live with him, I went back to the streets, went back to the drugs, and I got even on harder stuff: crack, cocaine, mushrooms, acid, methamphetamines, and started dealing and distributing those as well. And that didn't work out too good. And I eventually came into a situation where I just had enough, man. I had so much weight and stress. I'd hit rock bottom so many times, and now my mom's dead, you know. And I'd gotten with a girl after I got out of incarceration. The first girl that I actually like gave my heart to, you know, she got pregnant, and we were just not doing well. We were at odds. And so I had a baby on the way. My mom's dead. I'm living with my brother. I'm stressed out. I'm paranoid. You know, all these emotions and things just constantly hitting me. And so I cried out to God. I learned about God growing up, but it was never something personal. It was always like, you know, you go to church, you get candy, you hear this. I really went to church to get the girls. That's all I really wanted. The candy was a bonus.
Right.
But I ended up really coming to a place where I cried out to God in such a genuine way that it was the first time that I ever really felt him respond in the way that he did. And so, you know, his presence engulfed the whole room where I was at. And I'm talking real. I'm talking to the point where it was so real that I lifted my hand up and I waved my hand in the air like this because I could feel the resistance in the air. His presence was so thick. I'd never felt anything like I knew that whoever created all this was in the room.
Powerful, dude.
Yeah. And so from that moment, 2 months after that experience, I was delivered from all the drugs that I was addicted to since I was 10.
Wow.
Like that.
Wow.
Gave me my mind back, gave me my life back, and little by little, one step at a time, he began to put the pieces of my life back. And so, you know, people that talk to me today that I knew back growing up, it just, they just can't even grasp because they knew who I was, they knew how I talked, they knew how I walked, they knew how I was, everything. And to see that transformation and what I'm doing now in the realm of media arts and entertainment is just, it's just crazy, man.
Cool. So when you made that transformation, so what kind of steps did you have to take? Because you had this lifestyle you're used to.
Yep.
You know, you grew up in.
Definitely.
You know, and then you're going from this environment. Then you have your the encounter with God.
Yeah.
You know, and God changes your life.
Totally.
It doesn't change your environment.
No.
You know what I mean?
No.
It doesn't change the situation you were in. It doesn't change your environment. All your friends, they're still your friends, you know. So what did you kind of do to get yourself past that?
Got you. So really, it did change my friends because when I had, you know, when the drugs leave,
right,
the people that you're associated with that do drugs all the time,
they all bailed out.
Yeah, they bailed out
right.
Because now that connection isn't there. And so I was actually lonely for several months. My environment did not change, but I was changing.
Right.
God was giving me new perspective. And as I began to, press in and talk to him and, relay my feelings to him, even if I couldn't hear him, I knew in my heart because of how intense my experience was.
Right.
I knew he was real and I knew he was listening. It was just one of those moments where no matter what, you have to go forward because you've experienced something so real. You cannot go backwards.
Right.
You just can't, man. And so I just literally, by the skin of my teeth, if I had to, I would crawl forward. And little by little, I would be introduced to this person and that person. And with God changing my desires, it allowed me to change my decisions.
Right.
And it also helped me change my responses and perspective to what was in my life and around me.
Right.
And that is what helped me dwell in the environments where I was dwelling and get past them, because God was molding my mind and my thinking so that I was lining up with the way God saw me and the way God saw my environment, which helped me understand, a lot of the things that I was going through, where I was, and gave me the faith
right.
to believe that there was better, that there was more, that he had a purpose for me. And I just literally, bro, one foot in front of the other, one day at a time, one moment at a time, 1 week, 1 month, 1 year at a time. I just began to press forward.
Cool. So at what point did you start feeling like the major change in your life?
Honestly, man, that probably happened. Obviously, salvation in itself was just nothing like that in my whole life.
Right.
But when I started getting in the realm of entertainment and the pathway of an evangelist was when I went to ministry school. And so when I went to ministry school, that just opened up a whole new world to me, because we dove into the deep things that, most believers, Christians just don't do.
Right.
They're very surface level. They don't dive in the way that we did. And it was crazy. I was experiencing and learning things and seeing things and in the science and all kinds of stuff. Learned that our fingernails were made of butterfly calcite, which is a mineral from the earth.
Wow.
When God tells us he made us from clay and the dirt of the earth, it's the elements of even our fingernails are in the earth. That's
Wow.
real.
Right.
And so that is what helped me learn who I was, how to use my gifts in music, as an evangelist, to evangelize the gospel, to sow the truth into the hearts of people through the realm of media, arts, and entertainment. So when I began to pursue that path, God began to open up doors
Right.
and doors.
Right.
Yeah.
Cool. So, what do you think is the biggest difference now? So, so for Kai, so you're raising Kai.
Yeah.
What is it that you try to train him to do, so he doesn't make the same mistakes that you make?
Well, we've talked about so many things that, in my life.
Right.
And so these are stories that I've talked about, that I've told him, that I've rehearsed, that I've shown him pictures of, that, there's proof of what I did, what I went through. And some of the stories, it's just like, Kai doesn't want to be that.
Yeah.
He doesn't. And so one of the things that Kai got that I didn't is Kai has a dad.
Right.
And I love him. And, I disciplined him. I didn't get disciplined really when I was growing up, not the right way.
Right.
And so with him, it's the best of both worlds. So it's like whoop his butt,
Right.
but hug him and love him and
Right.
remind him who he is and who God says he is. Get him in church, keep him in church, listen to godly songs, conversate about things and stories in the Bible, and really just bring the word alive to him so that he can understand and see it. And, now, he's taller than I am now. He's 16. He's 16 years old, over 6 foot.
Right.
And respectable young man. He's not doing drugs. He's not drinking. He's not smoking. He's not doing none of that stuff, bro.
Right.
And so that in itself is,
That's huge.
that's huge.
Yeah.
Because if I die today, I
Right.
feel like I did it. I've done enough, man. I've raised a human being to not be what I used to be. Someone who actually has a fighting chance in life. And so, yeah, man, I definitely feel like, the biggest thing in my life is definitely the changing of the mind. Because if you don't change your mind, if you don't change your perspective, if you can't get truth in here, because
Yep.
this is the battlefield.
Right.
Everything we think, everything we feel, the emotions, our behavior, our actions, which have consequences throughout our whole life, however long that's going to be,
Right.
happens here.
Yep.
And if you can't change this, you don't change anything. But if you can change this and change it in the way that God wants it changed,
Right.
all things are possible.
Cool. Well, so now that you've made that transformation,
Yeah.
how has your life changed in your career, in the ways that the things that the goals that you've set, and the things that you wanted to do? How is
Man, it's amazing, because when I first got saved, I'd never had a job, never worked at McDonald's, didn't have a driver's license, didn't know how to work. The only thing I knew how to do was sell drugs and do music.
right?
And even the music aspect wasn't on the level it's on now. It was just, I just did music because I liked it.
Right.
But music was the only thing I had to give God, and so I gave it to him, and he blessed it. The one thing I could give him, he blew on it and blessed it. Now, we look, I got saved in 2005. It's 2021, and I'm writing songs for major Hollywood movies. Soundtracks. Just had the Lawrence Fishburne movie that I wrote for, that was in 55 theaters in 17 states on June 4th of this year.
Right.
I have the upcoming soundtrack for Wesley Snipes' movie. I also do acting. So I'm acting in movies, but I'm also writing soundtracks for movies, and I get to use my influence in those realms to deliver truth to people.
Right.
And, I just became the owner, one of the CEOs of a new production company called Resolute Pictures, Inc., and just the past 2 months of us being together within that, we've landed $1 million movie deals. We've landed several documentary deals, and it's like everything just keeps getting better and better and better. Better in my life, better in my mind, better in my finances, better in my feeling, my emotions. Everything is just getting better. You can't walk with God, love God, and pursue him, and things not grow, things not get better. If you're truly doing it, it just has to happen because that's his nature.
Right.
And if he's in you and his will is progressing in your life, you have to blossom, dude. You have to.
That's good. That's good stuff, man. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to the video that you mentioned, the Lawrence Fishburne.
Cool.
So we're going to play
The music video?
Yeah.
Hey,
your music video, brother. So we're going to
the song This Changes Everything.
This Changes Everything.
The
So we're going to go ahead
the movie is called Under the Stadium Lights.
Under the Stadium Lights. So this is Lawrence Fishburne's movie, and so we're going to go show you guys the video, and then we'll be right back.
Enjoy.
Yo, mic check, 1, 2. Just wanna make sure this thing's on, man. Okay, we good, yeah. Yo, let's get it. Hey, yo, there will always come a time in everybody's life when they'll be forced to make a choice and have to get it right. Cause their life depends on it. Just like a pilot whose engine blew out in mid-flight and now he's forced to land it right. Cause if he doesn't, everything is gonna fall apart. And his life will end engulfed inside a sea of flaming sparks. Yeah, I need a legacy, someone to remember me. Something more than smoking weed and pass out on it Hennessy. Sometimes I wonder if this life was even meant for me. Feel so out of place some days like I'm not even meant to be. I look inside the mirror, ghosts be looking back at me. God, I need a miracle, so please come down and rescue me. This opportunity truly means the world to me, because the end result it truly changes everything. It's now or never, I know this is my destiny. Everything from here on out, I know that it is meant to be. This opportunity truly means the world to me, because the end result it truly changes everything. It's now or never, I know this is my destiny. In 24 hours I'll be going down in history. Oh, I'm confident my gift is like an antioxidant. Sit back and watch me blast off just like a rocket ship. Know a lot of people wanna stop the ship. Go ahead and bet against me, go ahead and stop the chips out. Just have to take your money, then you'll have to watch me posting pics on Instagram of being filthy rich. Sorry kid, we'll never stop at this, no matter what it takes, until I hold the victory of great accomplishments. Thank you mama, you taught me well, and I am positive that we cannot rely on government and politics. So many people acting cowardice. People need to see the truth, take a stand and stop acting powerless. I guess I just became an activist, kinda cool, but I am just a passenger who happens to be passionate. Just trying to make a difference, just trying to feed my infants, just trying to pay my bills, slow to speak, quick to listen. This opportunity truly means the world to me, because the end result it truly changes everything. It's now or never, I know this is my destiny. Everything from here on out, I know that it is meant to be. This opportunity truly means the world to me, because the end result it truly changes everything. It's now or never, I know this is my destiny. In 24 hours I'll be going down in history. There's only one life we get upon this earth, so we better take it serious before we meet the hearse. Yo, time is of the essence, life is full of lessons. Do what you can do for people, don't forget to count your blessings. There's only one life we get upon this earth, so we better take it serious before we meet the hearse. Yo, cause life is short, and most people don't even live it. Everything we love can disappear, gone in an instant. This opportunity truly means the world to me, because the end result it truly changes everything. It's now or never, I know this is my destiny. Everything from here on out, I know that it is meant to be. This opportunity truly means the world to me, because the end result it truly changes everything. It's now or never, I know this
All right, welcome back, man. Dude, I love that video, dude.
Thank you, bro.
I love that video.
Thank you, bro.
So,
Thank you, bro.
you know, it's funny
Thank
because
you, bro. Just kidding.
so, you know, every time, you know, for the show, every time I send this out, I will send a link to that video too.
Really?
Yeah.
Hey.
So, and
that's
if you go onto the to our site, you know, go to Cross Product, and you subscribe, subscribe, and share, because we really need you guys to get this stuff out, these videos out, because the more you guys do that, it helps us out, so we can get bigger guests.
And it helps other people out.
Yeah, it's gonna help
helps
a lot
them
of
out because
people.
it blesses people. People get the message and they receive that message and pass it on. You're helping other people become better. You're helping them grow in what really matters the most, and which is what this world lacks the most.
Right. And it's amazing too, because since our first show, I'm excited about some of the guests that we have coming up.
Oh, some big people. Yeah, it's pretty mind blowing.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited about that. So,
Yes.
So what I wanted to say too is, you know, before we went to break, you were talking about you know, where you came from and where you're at now.
Yeah.
One of the things that we were talking about in the during the break is that what's amazing about that is the things that you were good at, you know, networking, the music, all that, you were doing it already. You were just doing it in the wrong environment, in the wrong setting.
Correct.
And once you transferred over, and you know, God put His hand on what you were doing, blessed it, and you were doing it for a positive, you know, I don't say positive, but you were doing what God created you to do.
Yeah.
God started blessing it.
Yeah, for sure, yeah.
And so, you know, some of you people out there, you know, you think, you know, you don't know what it is that that your talent is, what it is that your purpose is.
Yeah.
You know, and so, you know, the thing that I want you to understand is that most likely you are already doing what your purpose is.
Yeah.
You might not be doing it in the way that's
God intended.
Exactly, the way that God intended it, because that's the most important. That's the key to everything.
Yeah.
And you have to do it the way God intended it.
For sure.
Because God can't bless something that you're not doing for Him.
Yeah.
Because our talents and stuff, and our ability, our purpose, is ultimately to glorify for Him and bring people to, you know, bring Him to their attention. And no matter, it doesn't matter what you're doing. So, you know, the amazing thing is that you were doing it. You were networking.
Doing it well, yeah.
You were meeting, you know, just you know, as a 12-year-old kid, you're meeting all these drug dealers. You know?
Yeah.
You're networking. You know, but you know, in that negative way, it was getting you in trouble.
Oh, for sure.
So you know, when you had that transformation and you started doing it in the right way, now God's blessed you.
Yeah.
So, you know, tell us what do you want to tell the people about their purpose?
Man, you know, I agree with what you said. I think that a lot of times we overlook, you know, what our purpose is, but our purpose usually is what we're good at. It's our passion. What are we doing? But a lot of times we divert left, or we go on a detour with our gifts. Like me, you know, my music, my giftings was in music, but it was also in networking and sales, actually. And so I was selling drugs. It wasn't good.
Right.
I was writing music about gangbanging and killing your mom, and, you know, you're burying your dad out back, like the bad stuff, right? But when I transformed and I turned my gifts and began using them for the good, God began to bless them. And I actually started having an impact in people's lives that was literally changing their lives. It was changing their mind. It was changing the way they were thinking, which then altered the way that they behaved and their actions. And people's lives, I can definitely attest, are now better because I found my purpose. What is your purpose? What are you good at? Don't overthink it. And if you don't know, one of the good things, you know, I guess one of the good ways to find your purpose is, what have other people told you you're good at? What if people complimented you on? What if people pointed out? You know, you start taking what people have said and put it together, and you're like, wait, maybe that is what I'm good at, you know? And you begin to follow that. And you don't have to know everything, God knows where you're at. He knows every mistake you've made, every failure, everything you've done wrong. There is nothing you can hide from him. He knows every single thing and all the details in between. So it's always good to just be honest. And if you're having a struggle there, ask him. Just say, Lord, show me what I'm good at.
Yep.
Show me what my purpose is. Give me understanding so I know how to please you, so I know how to fulfill your will in my life. He'll do it. He'll show you. He may bring somebody along, a stranger that just says something, and all of a sudden this light bulb will go on. Ding! Nabisco. Ding! You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's like that light bulb goes off, and you begin to understand more about who you are and the purpose, in which God created you. And when you start flowing in that path and going down that road, there's nothing in the whole world like it.
Yeah.
Nothing. It is so fulfilling to live your life on purpose.
That's true. And the other thing too, talking about that, is when you figure out what your purpose is, no one can stop you. The only person that can stop you from fulfilling your purpose
is you.
That's
yep.
it.
Yeah, because you have heaven backing you.
Yep.
And Satan, our adversary, the devil, who's very real. Not people who live nowadays, you can't even deny it. It's like he doesn't even try to hide it anymore. He's so in your face with evil and wrong, and what is wrong is being called right, and what is right is being called wrong. It's like it's so in your face. You can't even deny it. He's not even trying to hide it anymore because his time is short. Satan doesn't have the opportunity to be saved anymore. He just hears, the flames, and that's where his end is. And so with God wanting to save us and God wanting us to be used for his glory and to inherit heaven, there's nothing better than that, bro. There's nothing better than that. And so, my thing always goes back to, what did God say about it? He wants us to be blessed. He wants us to live out our purpose, bro. And he's faithful to do that. He really is, man.
It's good stuff, man. So, all right, man. Well, I want to thank you for being on the show today.
I appreciate you.
Yeah, like I said, it was only fitting that you be the first person, man. We've been through this journey for a while, and to me, it's an honor to be able to really talk to you about your story. I'm like everybody else. I see it on Facebook, and I look at some of the things that you did, but to be able to actually sit and talk to you about it,
Yeah, no, for sure.
It's just respect. It makes me respect you even more as a person because I know what you've been through, and we've been friends for a while,
Yeah, it's been a while.
And so we've never really sat down and really had this deep conversation.
This deep, it just got deep, y'all.
Right. So I appreciate you doing it, man, brother. So
thank you, bro. Thank you for having me out, man. I love what you're doing. I love the whole concept of the camera that you got developing. I love everything that you're doing, even with this movement here, trying to encourage people and bring on guests that can help encourage you and even give people, an understanding of how to go from A to B and B to C. Sometimes we're able to deliver certain gold nuggets, if you will, that help, bring that aha moment and even a teachable moment or an encouragement to you that allows you to, get up from where you're at and just move forward. Always moving forward. Always moving forward. It's a gift and it's a blessing. So thank you, bro, for what you're doing, man. I pray God's blessings over you, your family, and over this movement in Jesus' name.
Cool. I appreciate that. So with that, we're going to go ahead and wrap up the show.
And eat some pizza.
Yeah, we just ordered some pizza. So
where are we at right now?
So we are at Marco's Pizza.
Dang right we are.
In Louisville, off of Round Grove. These guys were gracious enough to let us use one of their back rooms.
Yep.
Which is really cool.
They've been amazing.
I just came in here last week, on Friday.
Really?
Friday. I came in here Friday, yesterday.
Yeah, when I walked in here, the general manager, everybody was just here, just like, how can we help you out? They were just so amazing. Great people. Their food is absolutely incredible, and you do not want to miss it. So if you guys if you live in Dallas or you live in the Louisville area and you're looking for a nice place to sit down with your family to come get some really great food, man, Marco's Pizza is where it's at.
Right here in Louisville.
Off Round Grove. Yeah. Round Grove. Come get you some pizza, and then once you get that pizza, holler at me and be like, Harmony, you are right.
Yep. Put it in the comments.
Bang it.
Yeah. Tell them that Cross and Harmony sent you.
Yeah, tell them that Cross and Harmony sent you, and we'll try to get you a 10% discount on the next one. You know what I'm saying? It's good stuff, man.
So cool. All right, brother. All right, man. So until next time, remember, you are uniquely designed with a purpose. Never forget that.
Never forget that, and always keep moving forward.
Exactly. All right, you guys, we'll talk to you on the next show. Peace.
You've seen them on ABC, CBS, NBC, KSLA, TBN, and WENY-TV. Introducing Harmony, Christian rap artist, film producer, model, actor,
There's a lot that goes into making a film.
and public speaker.
Give them the hope and the future, God, that you have for them.
Book Harmony today for future shows and events by visiting harmonyproductions.com.